Hey guys, and welcome back to the Michelle Murray Podcast. This is podcast number 2, where I'm going to be talking about 10 ways for you to feel more grounded. Let's get into it. So when we last left off, I was talking about creating the life you want using my own course. And I just wanted to go ahead and let you guys know that the course is now open for enrollment. And it is 50% off right now all the way until the end of September. So if you're interested in that, go to michellemurraycreative.com and enroll in the course this week. You can try the first section for free. But I wrote a blog about 10 ways to feel grounded. I mentioned it in my last podcast that I'd hoped it would come out, and it finally did. And I still feel like it was a little bloated, and that probably not a lot of people spent a lot of time reading it because it was so long. So I thought I would do a podcast on it. So yeah, here's 10 ways to feel grounded. And if you don't know what I mean when I say to feel grounded, you're going to find out. So I can tell you, first of all, what it feels like not to be grounded. It feels like being anxious. It feels like worrying. It feels like stress, anger. You feel like you're emotionally crazy and overwhelmed. Not feeling grounded would mean that you're offended by something someone said to you or did to you. You're letting the ego take over. You're feeling hurt or lost or out of control or unfocused or broke. Being broke can make you feel really ungrounded. Maybe you're feeling betrayed, and there are times when we can feel all of these negative lower emotions, and there are times that those emotions can take over our actions. And so what I'm going to talk to you today about is how to control those emotions and how to feel more grounded to where you don't let those emotions overtake you and make you do things and say things that you'll regret. And ultimately, you're going to feel 10 times better because you're going to have peace and you're going to have calm and you're going to have a sense of well-being inside of you. And so what does grounded mean to me? Well, feeling grounded to me means that I feel a deep sense of calm within myself. And it means that I can keep my cool and be sensible. A lot of times when I'm being unsensible, I know that I'm not grounded. When I'm yelling, when I'm arguing, when I'm taking on someone else's emotions or someone else's energy, I feel ungrounded. I feel like when someone comes at me and they're angry or they have a problem or they're very emotional, sometimes I can feel that I get caught up in it. And so in order for me to stay grounded, I have a few techniques that I use so that I don't allow things like that to happen. And I'm sure that's happened to you, where someone's come up to you and they're being negative and they have some drama in their life and they're projecting it onto you. And if you don't be careful, you can absorb that into your being and you can start feeling the same way they're feeling. So this podcast is to help you know how to deal with times like that. So it means that I can keep being grounded, means I can keep myself calm in stressful situations. And also, being grounded means that I'm confident in my decisions and I don't let people sway me. Once I make them, I stand firm on my decisions and I'm grounded in them because I know what I want, and I don't let other people and their opinions sway how I live my life. It also means that I'm not ashamed of any part of myself, and it also means that I don't have a need for other people to tell me who I am. What do I mean when I say that? Have you ever had somebody call you a name? You're this, or you're that, or you're being selfish, or you're being irresponsible. Well, when people call you names that you don't agree with about yourself, and you know deep within that you're not that kind of person and they're just judging you incorrectly, then you can stay grounded in knowing that you aren't who they say you are, and you're not doing what they say you're doing. Now, if you are what they say you are, and you are doing the things that they say you're doing, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if you know deep within your inner being that they are very misunderstood about their judgments about you, then this is a way to feel grounded, and that is to know who you are as a person and stay grounded in who you know you are, because that's all that really matters, is that you know who you are as a person and you're not worried about what people that you barely talk to think of you as a person. So let's get into it. Number one, the first way that I remain grounded in my life is through a process that's called meditation. Now, meditation is maybe a little bit of a turnoff to some people because it has religious connotations. However, meditation is far from a religious practice, even though some religions do practice it. To me, meditation is just as simple as this. Meditation is going within and closing your eyes and simply watching what's going on in your mind and simply taking note of it and letting it go. And then you're waiting for the next thought to come up. And so when the thought comes up, you don't judge it. You don't get sucked into thinking about the thought. You watch the thought, acknowledge it, and let it go. That's all it is. And you keep repeating this. You keep repeating this process. And what you'll find then, as you observe your thoughts, you get to see a bit about what goes through it and how your mind works. And so once you can start identifying some negative thoughts that you have, you can start changing them through a process called neurosculpting. Now, basically, neurosculpting is taking a thought, a negative thought, let's say a negative thought is, oh, my child is not going to do well in school. That's a negative thought. And taking that thought and switching it around and saying, no, my child is going to do well in school because he's going to study and he's going to prepare, and I'm going to do whatever it is that I can do as a parent to help him or her succeed. So as soon as you have the negative thought or the worry or any kind of anxiety, any kind of thought that causes anxiety within your inner being, you take whatever your brain just said and you flip it on its head and you say a true belief. Okay? There's many things that can go through your mind during the day, and if they are negative about yourself or about other people or about your circumstances, I want you to switch it around and say something positive. You do that enough and your brain will start flipping the script on its own, and it'll start being less negative, because what is happening is you get into a negative mode so much that it is the default setting of what your brain is. And so your brain is so used to thinking these negative thoughts, these anxiety-ridden what-ifs, that's just all it knows. And in order for the brain to save energy, it just turns the default button on and it just starts rolling with the negative thoughts. So if you can take the negative thought and switch it to a positive thought, then you do that enough times and that kind of thinking will become the new default thinking of your brain. So you'll notice that you'll start having more positive thoughts. You'll also be able to identify negative thoughts when they show up and be able to squash them as soon as they happen before they even start to create a negative emotion. And that's the real trick. I'll have to go into that more in depth in another podcast. But meditation for me, it relaxes me, it calms me, it makes me feel very grounded, because after I meditate, my mind is clear. Not all the time, but sometimes my mind is clear. But most of the time, meditation to me is a practice of watching my thoughts and switching them. And so during the day, whether I'm working or I'm doing dishes or I'm driving in the car and a negative thought pops up, I can just switch it to a positive thought like that. It's like second nature now. It's just something I do. Or I can realize, hey, that's kind of off-putting. Let's not think about that, because I know that's going to create a negative emotion. We want to think positive thoughts so that we can create positive emotions and stay in those higher vibrations of emotional frequencies, because we want to gain momentum in being positive, and we don't want to go into those lower negative frequencies because it causes anxiety and depression. But I have created a 10-minute meditation. It's called the inventory meditation. It is a meditation where you can take inventory of what is going on in your brain, and then in the next 5 minutes you can actually meditate with a clearer mind and actually get the benefits of what meditation, not medication, can do for you. And yes, I didn't take medication to cure my anxiety. I took meditation. So if you want to download that, you can go to michellemurraycreative.com and you can download it there. Okay, on to the next thing. A clean and organized space is something that I've noticed for me is very grounding, and I'm sure it'll work for you too. So what I've done is before we moved into the new house, I threw away everything I had. I threw away all the clutter, and I threw away a lot of furniture, and I threw away many, many things that I wasn't using and that didn't light me up when I picked them up, and I said, does this light me up? And do I need this? And if I didn't, I tossed it. So when we came into the new house, I didn't have a lot of furniture, and I was perfectly fine with that because I had planned for it to be that way, because I wanted to create a space that felt grounding, that felt light and airy, and that felt flowy and didn't feel cluttered and messy. And I wanted it to reflect how I wanted to feel on the inside. And so I painted all the walls white, and I have white couches, and I have plants, but it's very minimal furniture, and everything is very clean and very sleek and very modern because it has a grounding effect for me. Excuse me. But you want to create a space in your home or in your workplace, whether it's your desk or in your car, of groundedness. And the way you do that is you keep it spick and span clean as much as you can, and you let go of the clutter, you toss it out. I would say I'm not a minimalist. I don't really identify with that, but I would say that I have minimalist tendencies. So I do relate to it a little bit, but yeah, I have no kind of beliefs that you should be a minimalist or anything like that. But to me, it's very grounding. When I go into a space and it's full of clutter, I feel like there's so much to look at, and I don't know what to look at. And it feels like it's kind of overwhelming because your brain just starts trying to analyze and take in everything that is in there. And if you're trying to search for something, oh my goodness, a set of keys, a book, a piece of paper that you had a note written on, it can become stressful. So keep your house as clean as you can, your car and your desk as organized as possible. And I know it's hard to keep a house clean when you have a bunch of kids, because I have 5 kids. But if you can pick 2 rooms in your house that you always keep perfectly clean, and you can go into those rooms and know that, hey, they're clean, and I'm going to feel grounded when I go in there. I can relax. I don't feel overwhelmed in there. It feels calming and zen-like. Then do that. I have a living room, a bathroom, and my kitchen that I try to keep immaculate as much as possible. And the kids' rooms can be a mess, although they clean their rooms weekly. But I don't stay on top of them as much as I do those rooms, because those rooms are my non-negotiables. But having a clean, organized space is very grounding, especially when it comes to your tools. It could be your makeup. It could be whatever it is you use for work, whether it's your toolbox, anything. If you're a male, if it's your storage room, it's so nice to just go into a space and pick up whatever it is you need. It's less stress, less to think about, less hassle. Simplify your life as much as you can in your home. You will feel grounded. Okay, so another one is to know yourself as a person. So it's important to know who you are and what you want in life, and what you believe and why, because people are going to test you, and people are also going to come in. Sometimes you'll have people come in and they'll have very strong opinions about how you live. You may go to a place like a church, and they may have very strong beliefs of how you should conduct your life. Or you may listen to a podcast, or you may read a book, and it may have differing opinions that you don't groove with. But you won't know if you don't groove with them if you don't know who you are as a person. So it's real important that you set those limits and those boundaries on who you are as a person so that other people can't infiltrate them. Even parents, if you're a grown adult and you have parents that want to be controlling of your decisions of where you need to go to college at or where you need to go to work at, things like that. You got to be careful, because if you don't know who you are as a person and someone comes along with an idea that you should work here or your parents say you should work there, you'll most likely feel like you're either pulled here or pulled there, or you'll follow along blindly and you don't have any opinion and you don't really have any direction about where you're going to go. So it's important that you sit down and think about things like that. But yeah, so it's important to know who you are as a person because of that. And yeah, because if you're not grounded in who you are and what you want in life, then you'll listen to anybody. And so you have to be careful. Even when you're listening to me, take it with a grain of salt, and whatever resonates with your inner being, then go live it, and whatever doesn't, spit it out. I don't mind. It doesn't bother me a bit. And then there are times in life where you'll have people who aren't qualified to judge you or your situation. What do I mean by that? So sometimes you'll have people who will say things about you that are mean, or will make up things that are totally untrue, or will interpret things in a way that is not accurate. And you've got to know who you are as a person in order to combat those trigger moments, because you can become triggered in those moments and you can become offended and you can take what people say personally, and you don't want to do that. You want to remain in who you know you are as a person. If you know that you're not what they're saying you are, if you know you didn't do what people have said you've done, or if you know that someone has twisted your words or twisted what they think they know about your life, then it's really hard to stay calm and not stressed in those situations. But you can. And the way you do that is you just remain confident in who you are as a person and in the actual truth of what you know is, truthfully. So don't take anything personal. And that's the next one, is don't take anything personal. Even good things that people say about you, don't take it personal. Don't let it go to your head and give you a big ego. But mostly, don't take anything personal that people say negative towards you, unless you agree with it. And you have to be careful agreeing with it, because sometimes you may agree with them because you don't know who you are. So it's important to know who you are. But so don't take anything personal. Accept that people are going to have their own opinions in life when it comes to politics, when it comes to race and religion, and when it comes to your own life. People are going to have their own worldview, their own belief systems, and when people judge you or make you feel less than what you are, you got to know that they're just projecting their fears onto you, and they're living from their personal experience, and they're projecting their insecurities onto you. And it's their own control issues and their own personal issues and their own fear-based limitations that they are projecting onto you. And you have to learn that you don't have to believe or agree with what they're telling you. So don't take anything personal. It's very helpful that you don't. And if you're ever in an argument or a disagreement with someone, don't let the number one agenda on the conversation for you be, I just want to be right. Because if you just want to be right and prove them wrong, you're not going to get anywhere. It's good that you realize that there's some truth to their side, but there's also some truth to your side. You're both living in your truth and seeing things from your perspective, and they're seeing things from their perspective. And so it's both true in themselves. And so there's no way that you can sit there and pull someone to this side, or they can't pull you to that side, because they're seeing things in different views and different perspectives, and they've had their own experiences that have that have molded their own beliefs and their own thoughts. So you have to remember that, not to take anything personal, don't try to be right, and become unattached to being right. Just simply learn how to communicate your feelings and express your what you're thinking and your thoughts and what you want, and everything. You can remain more grounded in that when you realize that you don't have to take anything they say personal. They have their own views and you accept that. Okay. Whew, I feel like that was a mouthload. We've only done 4. Okay, let's go to number 5. Lessen your load. Really simple, really effective. If you are feeling overwhelmed at work, or if you are feeling overwhelmed at home, start delegating responsibilities to other people. Ask people for help. Start eliminating tasks that you do not need to do, that don't make you money if it's your business. If this is about your business and you feel overwhelmed, eliminate the things that aren't making you money and only focus on the things that bring in the income. All this busy work, all the posting on social media, all the marketing. Marketing can make money though, but all the busy work, just do away with it. And if you're at home and you need help with laundry and you have children that are 5 years or older, teach them how to do laundry. Teach kids how to do chores, such as vacuum or wash dishes. Teach your girls or your boys how to cut grass. Anything that, take out the trash, whatever it is that you know that you can delegate to somebody else. Of course, my laptop's trying to die right now, and I'm only halfway through. I would plug it up, but I can't get up during the middle of a podcast, and I refuse to press pause. But so yeah, just lessen your load. It has a very grounding effect. You won't be overwhelmed anymore. Okay, number 6, do your best in everything. This is a really great way to feel grounded in life. If you're doing your best at work, you're not going to wonder if the boss thinks you're doing a good job or if you're going to get a raise, whether it's your own business. If you're doing your best work possible, you're not going to worry if the customer is going to pay full price for your work. You're not going to worry if the value matches the work, because you know you've done your absolute best. This also goes for relationships with your significant other, or even your friendships, or even your children and your other family members. As long as you know that you're being the best person you can be and doing your best in the relationship that you possibly can, then you can feel grounded in knowing that you have done your best. You didn't give up. You're trying to stay calm. You're trying to do the right things. You're trying to take correct steps to creating good communication, to understanding others, to tolerating people's imperfections, things like that. If you're doing your best, you can stay grounded. And when people get upset with you, all you got to say is, I did the very best I can, unless you didn't. And then you can't say that, because that would be a lie. So do your best in everything, and you can feel grounded in that knowledge. Number 7, be selective about who you let inside your circle. This can be super hard, especially if you've already let people into your circle who bring a lot of negativity and drama into your life. So the first thing I'll tell you is try not to let people that lean more to the negative side of life, don't let them around you a lot, because that's going to rub off on you, and you're going to start running those negative actions too. And if you have people in your life already that are negative most of the time and that create drama in your life, or bring their drama into your life, you might want to think about if, number 1, they are the people for you, and you can ask your inner being, are these people good for me? Is so-and-so good for me? And if you know deep within they're not good for you, then I would start the process of letting them go and let them live their life elsewhere. But if you have people in your life that they are negative sometimes, and yeah, they cause drama or bring drama, but you love them and you want to have a relationship with them, then I would recommend that you kindly try to speak kindly. go to them and let them know that their negativity is affecting you negatively. And all the drama they're bringing into your life is not something that you want to be a part of. And explain to them that you want to continue to have a relationship with them. It's not about that. Just tell them if you're going to continue to have a relationship with them that works and that is beneficial to both people, then they're going to have to cut back on the negativity a little bit, and they're going to have to keep their drama on their side of the fence. And this is really hard. And I would tell you to ask your inner being of what you should say, because it's tough. This has always been a tough one for me, because we don't want to hurt people's feelings sometimes. And we don't want to offend people, but you got to protect your energy. You got to protect your home. You got to protect your own life and your own peace. So be careful about who you let into your inner circle. And number 8 is let go of conflict and control. So if there's conflict in your life, and there will be, just learn how to stay calm and remain reasonable with the person. Try to stay grounded. Don't elevate your voice. Don't get caught up in the emotions, and let go of being right. And don't feel like you have to prove yourself and control the situation. Let go of all that responsibility if there's conflict and if there's an argument. This can be a really good way to feel grounded. If you stay calm and you remain sensible in conversation, then you'll have better rationalization, better logic, better communication, and better decision-making skills. You don't want to get caught up in the anger, and instead you just want to focus on the feeling of staying grounded. And you also want to step over and put yourself in their shoes and understand their point of view, and let them know that you hear them. If you tell people that you hear them, or that you're understanding them, then they're much more likely to calm down. A way to do this is to say things like, so what I'm hearing you say is, and then you repeat what they said calmly. And you say, so my understanding is you want this, and this in order to whatever. So that's a good way to feel grounded and to try to stay calm and sensible, is to let go of conflict. Just if it's a dumb fight, let it go. It's stupid. It's not even worth fighting about. Me and my husband, it seems like every evening he will come home. We have this sort of booster in our home that boosts his Wi-Fi signal on his phone. And I unplug it every day because it uses energy, and I'm conserving energy, and I don't use it, and there's no need for it to stay plugged up every day. And so when he comes home, he always complains that I unplug it. And it's so funny because he will not step in there and plug it back up. He will come to me and say, why did you unplug the booster? Go plug it back up. And I'll be like, are your arms broken? Do your legs not work? And it is the funniest argument ever. And the other day we were having the same argument, and I said, Joshua, this is a dumb argument, and I'm not going to participate. If you want the booster plugged up, go plug it up. There you go. There's a little bit into my life and how I deal with things. But yeah, don't argue over dumb stuff. All right. Number 9, save money. There's no other grounding in the world than knowing you have money in the bank for emergencies and for the things you need in life and for the things you want in life. Because life happens. Yeah, life happens. A child may get sick or have to go to the hospital to get stitches. This happened to me recently. And those stitches, if you've got 3 stitches, it may cost you $3,000. And that's not an exaggeration. We got a bill for that one time. Your car's motor may blow up, unexpected expenses may show up, bills and tickets in the mail, anything can happen. And if you don't have money saved up and you're living paycheck to paycheck and you're on a tight budget, you're not going to feel grounded when the bills come in. You're going to feel worried, you're going to feel broke, and you're not going to feel stockpiled, you're not going to feel abundant, and you're definitely not going to feel grounded. So one of the ways to feel grounded is to have a bunch of money set up for a rainy day. Maybe if you want to start a business, You can feel grounded that you have money put away. You can quit your job because you have money put away. So you don't have to worry, is this business going to work? Because if it doesn't, you've got a little nest egg you can live off of for a minute and then maybe go back to what you're doing. So yeah, money can give a very grounded effect if you've got it saved up. So number 10, finally, we have reached the end. And I should have gotten a glass of water, but I think I can make it through. So number 10, learn what you need to learn in order to make your dream a reality. A lot of times we have these dreams, and that's all they are. They're just dreams. They're never going to become a reality. They're never going to be tangible. You're never going to be able to experience them because fear. Fear is something that ails a lot of people when it comes to creating a life they want. They want to be this, or they want to do this, or they want to own that, and they want to have this lifestyle, but they feel like they can't because they're too scared or they don't know how to do something. And the reality is that fear is just an illusion, and it's just a lie holding you back from the life you truly want. So learn whatever it is you need to learn in order to do whatever it is you need to do and experience whatever it is you need to experience. If you need to go to college, so for example, there are some jobs out there that you don't have to go to college for. You don't have to go to college to work at, an insurance company. You don't have to go to college to work at a lot of places, okay? I can't think of any right now. You don't have to go to college to work at a medical office. I used to work front desk. It pays pretty well. So there's a lot of good paying jobs out there that don't require you to have a degree of some sort. However, if your dream is to be a doctor or a lawyer or anesthesiologist or anything like that, guess what? You're going to have a degree, and the only way to get that degree is to sign up for college and go to college. So college is something that you would have to do in order to make that dream a reality. Simple action steps like going to college, and before that you would say, okay, well, I don't have the money for college. Okay, well, get you some financial aid. Well, I don't want to go into debt. Okay, well, then if you don't want to go into debt, you might want to go into another career. So it's real simple. So yeah, learn whatever it is you need to learn. If you want to be a plumber and you want to make money doing plumbing, well, first you got to go and you got to learn the basics as a helper. Then you can go take classes to become a journeyman's, get your journeyman's license, And after you get your journeyman's license, then you can go and take a test and get your master's license. And then you can run your own plumbing business. See, there's simple steps to everything. Super simple. So learn whatever it is you need to learn in order to create whatever it is that you're wanting to create in your life. Whether it is buying a house, go learn what are the steps to buying a house. If you want to sell your house, go learn about what are the steps that you have to go through in order to sell your house. Talk to people who have done it before. Talk to people who have had success at it. Of any of the areas that you're wanting to get better at or you're wanting to level up at in life, just try to find people around you that have already done it. And if you can't find anybody around you that's done it, there are plenty of online classes and online courses like I sell that can teach you how to create the life you want. Mine's called Create the Life You Want. It's about desire mapping. It teaches you how to create any aspect of your life. If you want to create a certain lifestyle, a certain career, if you want to tackle your health and fitness, your relationships, your collaborations in business, anything imaginable, even your spirituality, it's in that course. And you don't have to go through all of it. You can just pick and choose whatever you want. And like I said before earlier, it is on sale 50% off till the end of September. You can get the first section for free right now if you want to preview it and see if it's a fit for you. Just go to MichelleMarieCreative.com and you can get all the details there. So that's it. I hope you guys start doing some of these and stay grounded, people. Peace.